Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're digging into, well, quite a dense set of sources. We've got narrative text, philosophy, character notes.
Yeah, a whole lot. And it all centers around this really intense, kind of compressed world of an unconventional boarding school down in Alabama, actually.
Right, Alabama. So our mission today,
It's pretty straightforward, really. We want to decode the culture there, the unique language they use, and figure out the main philosophical quest of the protagonist. His name's Miles Halter, but they call him Pudge.
Pudge. Okay. And his quest is about leaving a minor life.
Exactly. He wants to leave that behind and chase something. Well, bigger. Something immense.
That minor life idea really sets the scene, doesn't it? The sources mention his going away party in Florida.
Oh, yeah. Apparently only 2 people showed up. And they weren't even interesting ones, according to him.
Wow. So that really underlines how unremarkable he felt. And the driving force is escaping that.
Escaping that, yeah, to go after this one single concept, the great perhaps.
The great perhaps sounds dramatic.
It is. It's supposed to be from the last words of Francois Rabelais, the poet. I go to seek a great perhaps.
So for Miles, Culver Creek Prep School isn't just changing schools.
No, not at all. It's like this huge pivot towards something significant, something maybe great before, the end. He sort of feels like his real life hasn't even started yet.
Okay, so let's dive into Culver Creek itself. It doesn't sound like your typical fancy prep school.
Definitely not. More like the sources paint a picture of southern discomfort almost. Think oppressive heat.
And the dorms.
Basic boxes. Cinder block walls, vinyl mattresses, no air conditioning. Imagine that in Alabama heat.
So the physical environment is pretty rough.
It really is.
Yeah.
And that heat, that closeness, it definitely adds to the social pressure,
And speaking of social pressure, there's a clear hierarchy.
Oh, yeah. Very rigid. You've got the weekday warriors.
Those are the rich kids, like Jaguar driving rich.
Exactly. And then there's everyone else, the non-warriors, often the kids on scholarships. So you immediately have this class divide.
Right on campus.
And that tension, it's pretty central to everything that happens. And watching over it all is the dean, Mr. Starnes.
Ah, the authority figure. What's his deal?
The kids call him the Eagle because he lives right there in the middle of the dorms and he sees everything, or seems to.
So there's this feeling of constant surveillance.
Totally. Which kind of makes rebellion feel, well, not just fun, but necessary, like a way to survive.
Okay, so Pudge arrives in this pressure cooker. Who does he actually connect with? Who pulls him into this chaos?
He falls in pretty quickly with this core group. They're really smart, super loyal to each other, and masters of troublemaking, basically.
Sounds like fun. Who's in the group?
First, his roommate, Chip Martin. Everyone calls him the Colonel.
The Colonel. Why?
He's short but strong, really sharp-tongued, brilliant too. The source says he knows all the world capitals by heart.
Impressive.
But his main thing, he absolutely hates the rich kids, the weekday warriors. It's like this deep, passionate resentment.
Is that just standard boarding school stuff, or is it more fundamental?
Oh, it's fundamental. For the Colonel, it's like they're fighting a class war. He sees their group as smarter, more moral than the wealthy kids around them. He's the planner, the strategist. Then there's Takumi Hikohito. He calls himself a computer genius. And a rapper.
A rapper?
Yeah, well, he fancies himself one. He's known for wearing this weird fox hat during their operations. Pranks, mostly. He's the tech guy.
Got it. The strategist and the tech guy. Anyone else?
And then there's Laura Budurskaya. She's Hungarian-Romanian, has a bit of an accent. She kind of stumbles into Miles's life awkwardly. Alcohol might have been involved.
A potential love interest.
A tentative one, yeah. But all of them, brilliant as they are, they really orbit around one person. That would be Alaska Young.
Alaska, tell me about her.
She's magnetic.
Yeah.
And chaotic, petite, curvy, incredibly quick-witted. And her room is famous for her life's library.
Life's library?
Yeah, just huge, messy stacks of books everywhere. Books she fully intends to read someday. It's like a symbol of her potential, maybe, and her scattered energy.
Even her name, Alaska, sounds big and maybe a bit wild.
Exactly. She chose it herself.
Yeah.
It comes from an Aleut word, Aliska. It means that which the sea breaks against.
Wow.
Yeah, she wanted a name that sounded big and far away from Vine Station, Alabama. She wanted scale,
Okay, so with Alaska's intensity, things shift. It's not just teenage drama anymore.
Right. This is where it gets philosophical. They get obsessed with this idea of the labyrinth.
The labyrinth. Where does that come from?
Alaska finds it in a novel by Gabriel Garcia Marquez, The General in His Labyrinth. It's about Simon Bolivar's last days.
And there's a specific quote?
Yes. The one that haunts her is, "How will I ever get out of this labyrinth?"
That sounds pretty heavy for a teenager. Is she just being dramatic?
I don't think so. The sources suggest she genuinely feels trapped, and she makes everyone else grapple with it too.
So what is the labyrinth for her?
It's suffering, universal suffering, and she's constantly asking, is the labyrinth just living? The misery of being alive?
Mm.
Or is the only way out of the suffering of life dying?
That's dark.
It is. And all her chaos, the pranks, the intensity, it feels like her way of fighting back against feeling trapped, maybe trying to laugh at it all.
Is there anyone guiding them through this existential dread?
Well, there's Dr. Hyde. He's their world religions teacher, old, only has one lung, definitely not a comforting figure.
What does he teach them?
He's their intellectual guide, maybe conscience. He makes them question everything. They study Islam, Christianity, Buddhism.
Does he offer any answers?
His main thing seems to be linking science and spirituality through the idea of entropy.
Entropy, like disorder. How does that connect to religion?
He uses the scientific idea that systems tend towards disorder to explain the Buddhist concept that everything that comes together falls apart. Impermanence.
Okay, I think I see. If everything falls apart.
Exactly. How do you find meaning? He doesn't give easy answers. He just makes it clear that finding their way through or out of the labyrinth of suffering is like the most important thing they'll ever do. Suffering is a given, meaning isn't.
And all this is happening in a place with really strict rules, right? But also this code of silence.
Absolutely. High stakes, get caught smoking, you face a jury run by students. But the number one rule, you never rat. Loyalty is everything.
And that loyalty gets tested fast for Pudge.
Almost immediately. He gets jumped by the weekday warriors. Kevin and his buddies, they duct tape him, throw him in the lake. A lovely welcome.
Ouch. So retaliation is required.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
For the group's pride and Pudge's. Which leads to this amazing prank, the Barn Night plan.
Engineered by the Colonel in Alaska, I bet.
You got it. It was this brilliant three-pronged attack, really complex.
Okay, break it down, front one.
That was the distraction. Pudge and Takumi in the famous fox hat, of course, set off a bunch of firecrackers near the Eagle's house to lure him away.
Okay, while the Eagle's distracted, front two.
Operation Baldy. That was Lara's job. She messed with Kevin's hair gel, put something in it.
Leading to?
Apparently some nasty chemical reaction. Poor Kevin had to get a super short, like military-style haircut to deal with the damage. Brutal.
And front three.
Pure Takumi. He hacked into the school network and sent fake progress reports home to the parents of all the weekday warriors involved, saying they were failing.
Wow. That's not just a prank, that's practically warfare.
It really was. Shows their level of coordination and intensity.
The humor is there, but it also feels serious. Which makes the next big prank even more complicated, right? The one they do after Alaska.
Yeah, the Alaska Young Memorial prank. Her idea, but they execute it after she's gone. It's like keeping a promise to her chaotic spirit.
What did they do? This one sounds like it needed serious guts.
Incredible audacity. Pudge had the main role. He had to convince the Eagle that a friend of his dad's, a Dr. William Morse, was this respected expert on adolescent sexuality.
Oh no, where is this going?
And that he was booked to speak at the junior assembly.
He actually got the Eagle to schedule this fake expert.
Yep, so picture it. Whole school, the Eagle, everyone's in the auditorium listening to this guy.
Who wasn't actually an expert.
Well, he was an expert, just maybe not the kind they expected. The trigger was Lara.
What does she do?
Stood up mid-lecture, used her accent perfectly, and delivered the line Alaska wrote for her. "You're so hot, I wish you'd shut up and take off your clothes."
You're kidding.
Nope. And right on cue, a professional stripper walks onto the stage.
A stripper at a junior assembly. How did they even?
Exactly. The sheer nerve of it is kind of breathtaking. Hiring a stripper, getting her past the dean.
What did the Eagle do? He must have lost it.
Oh, he was furious, baffled. But the sources say, eventually, when confronting them about the sheer theatricality and planning involved, he actually cracked a smile.
Really?
Yeah, and said something like, "It's like she wrote the speech."
Yeah.
Kind of this grudging respect for the ultimate defiant act,
Yeah.
even in grief.
But like you said, this happens after the tragedy, which forces them all to confront that labyrinth idea in the darkest way possible. Was Alaska trying to escape living, or something else?
Yeah, the investigation into her death becomes this desperate hunt for answers. The facts are just grim. She died driving drunk, BAC way over the limit, crash into a police car off campus.
And they look for clues.
They obsess over them. Especially a note she wrote in her copy of that labyrinth book.
Right next to the big quote, "How will I ever get out of this labyrinth?"
She wrote just 2 words, straight and fast.
Which sounds intentional, like suicide.
It definitely points that way.
Hmm.
But then other clues just muddy the waters. They find white tulips in her car.
Tulips? Why?
Turns out it was her 8-month anniversary with her boyfriend, Jake. An anniversary she'd completely forgotten about, which suggests maybe desperation, guilt over mistake, not necessarily a planned end.
It gets more complicated.
Much more, especially when Takumi finally confesses something. He was the last one to see her alive.
What did he say?
He said she was incredibly upset, crying about forgetting the anniversary, missing Jake's call. And crucially, she was doodling a flower. They later find the same flower drawn on the payphone wall she used.
So, the flower.
Huh?
Does that contradict straight and fast?
It makes it ambiguous. Was she driving straight and fast towards death? Or was she driving straight and fast, trying desperately to fix something, to get somewhere, to maybe apologize? We just don't know. The source leaves that question hanging.
And during all this trauma, searching for answers about Alaska, some uncomfortable truths about her come out too, right? About that loyalty code.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Takumi, feeling the pressure, reveals something Alaska did the year before.
What was it?
She actually broke the code. She ratted out 2 other students, Paul and Maria, for being drunk so she wouldn't get expelled herself.
Wow. She committed the ultimate sin at Culver Creek.
Exactly. And she hid it from everyone, especially the colonel, the guy whose whole identity is built on hating betrayal and lies from the privileged. It shows how desperate she must have been, how flawed even the most intense people are.
So after all this, the great perhaps, the labyrinth, the pranks, the tragedy, the betrayal, where does that leave Miles, Pudge? How does he make sense of it all?
He finds his way through, surprisingly, by circling back to Dr. Hyde's teachings. And science, actually.
Science, how?
He focuses on the idea that energy can't be destroyed. It connects back to Hyde's point about entropy, but in a hopeful way.
Okay, explain that connection.
If energy just changes form, never disappears,
Yeah.
then maybe the spirit, or consciousness, does too. Miles lands on this idea that part of us greater than the sum of our parts cannot begin and cannot end, and so it cannot fail.
So he's linking the Buddhist idea of impermanence with, like, the laws of physics.
Pretty much, yeah. The body decays, that's entropy, that falls apart. But the energy, the essence of Alaska, maybe that just transforms. It can't be truly destroyed.
Which changes how he sees that teenage feeling of being invincible.
Exactly. He thinks teenagers are kind of right about being invincible. Not physically, obviously, but maybe that core part, the spirit, the energy that is indestructible. It just changes shape. It can't actually fail or end.
So Miles survives the grief, the guilt, because he finds a way to believe she isn't truly gone. He chooses to stay in the labyrinth, knowing it means suffering, but believing in this indestructible energy.
But that seems to be his hard-won answer, yeah. It's how he answers Dr. Hyde's final echoing question: how will you personally, ever get out of this labyrinth of suffering? For Miles, it's not about getting out through death or finding some external answer. It's about realizing the part of him, and maybe of Alaska, that the chaos can't actually touch.
Okay, so if you came here looking for a quick understanding of this whole intense story, we've covered Miles seeking the great perhaps, the crazy social dynamics and pranks at Culver Creek.
The whole mystery around Alaska Young and her labyrinth, and finally, this idea that the spirit might just be invincible, surviving the suffering.
But we should leave you with one last little wrinkle about Miles's inspiration.
Right. Those supposed last words of Rabelais. I go to seek a great perhaps. Turns out, that's debated. There's another version of his last words.
Which is?
Ring down the curtain, the farce is played out.
Well, a farce is played out. That's quite different.
Very different. So Miles chose the great perhaps, found meaning in indestructible energy despite all the chaos and death. But what if the whole thing is just an elaborate, maybe profound, maybe meaningless farce? Choosing to live in the labyrinth, knowing it ends, but suspecting it might all be absurd. That's definitely something to think about.